Hey everybody, Kyle Goth here from GoatFilmReviews.com and the Goat Film Reviews YouTube channel, and I've got my first reaction to the new film Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga. This was my next anticipated film after Dune Part 2, so I would say that I went into this with pretty high expectations, and I quite enjoyed the movie. Now let me be clear, Fury Road this is not. This is not a 2-hour action set piece that just never really stops and just keeps on going from beginning to end. This is more of a character study. It is more about Furiosa. It is more of a prequel origin story, if you will. But it makes some clever choices to avoid those classic pitfalls of prequel stories. Now, I'm a fan of Solo and a few of these other kind of character origin films, but at the same time, they do tend to have this problem of we have a checklist. We have to make this person from point A to the character we know at the beginning of the next film in 2 hours, and we must get everything done. And oftentimes they'll say, like, one event changed this entire person's life. Where, like, you know, they got the scratch on their chin. They got the, they found out what their name means. And, like, all these, like, classic things that you have to make sure that we cover in this time period. And this movie does that, absolutely. But what I appreciate about it is that, first of all, it feels like a saga. It feels like a lengthy life lived. But also, the film is given chapters. So in some ways it feels anthological. It feels like there's 5 stories happening in this film. Each one is in a different point in her youth as she grows up, which makes the film feel like it's not one event that really changed her. It's been one journey she's been on her entire life, which makes that origin story fit with all these prequel kind of notions of we have to give reasons for why these things exist, because they didn't happen all at once. She was not formed all at once. She was formed over a lifetime, and I think the movie covers a large swath of her life, which makes it really cool. Plus, I'll be honest with you, I know it's a completely cosmetic thing that doesn't change the film at all. I love chapter titles. Any movie that's divided into chapters somehow wins me over, especially a movie that's 2+ hours, which this movie clocks in about 2 hours and 28 minutes. Chapters make it kind of flow a little bit more, so when you get to the end, you're like, oh, what's next? We have something next. I don't know why that really works for me, but it does. Anya Taylor-Joy is quite good as Furiosa. Now, she doesn't have a lot of dialogue. She is in a lot of ways the Mad Max of this movie. Whereas Mad Max, it feels like he's not really the main character in his films. And really, he's not ever since the original. All the people that were like, you know, they made a woman the main character of Fury Road. Mad Max has never been the main character. Not even really in his own movie. In the first movie, he's kind of not the main character until his partner gets taken out of the equation. And then he kind of becomes the main character by default. Anya Taylor-Joy is very good as Furiosa, but she doesn't speak a lot in the film. This is a very, without vocality kind of a character. And we do spend a lot of time with the younger actress who plays her. I think it's Alila something. I don't have my notes in front of me, but Alila Brown, I think, was the actress's name. She plays the younger Furiosa. And I think we spend about maybe 40% of the movie with her. So it's not like we have a ton one way or the other. But when Anya Taylor-Joy is on screen, she's quite magnetic. I like her a lot. And the thing about her is she is able to perform without words. She does have a very striking face. She has striking eyes. She's able to emote without speaking, which is a really strong thing when you're put in that situation, because it's not a skill that's just easily attainable. But I think she's able to convey a lot without speaking, which is good. Chris Hemsworth, I will say right now, I think this is the most captivating and interesting Chris Hemsworth performance, I think, of his entire career. Now, the man was born to play Thor, no doubt in my mind. But this is the role that I think stretches the level of insanity he's able to bring to a performance. He's oftentimes one of the best things in a movie, even a bad movie. You know, he's fantastic in that Vacation reboot that wasn't very good. I like the Ghostbusters from 2016. But I really liked what he brought to the table as this bumbling idiot, that reversal of fortune. But even in this film, it's like there were a lot of times I wasn't thinking about Chris Hemsworth behind that makeup. Some people said they found the nose piece distracting. I didn't. I thought he was quite captivating in it. Another standout for the film was Tom Burke. I don't know Tom Burke very well, but he plays a driver who works for Immortan Joe, and I didn't really know what he was going to bring to the table. I think his character's name is Praetorian Jack. I love these character names. And he is basically a runner for the big rig that Immortan Joe has, creates a partnership with Furiosa in order to help him safely get to his destinations because she's so good at killing. I think he's fantastic in the movie, and they have some really good moments together. he won me over by the end. I thought he was fantastic. And I think the way in which they play out their kind of relationship is not inherently like a sexual one, but they each get something out of this equation. There is kind of that emotionality of they do find this caring for each other. They want each other to succeed. I think it's a really captivating performance and really solidly worked with Taylor-Joy. Performances across the board I quite enjoyed. Now, I will say the film, I think, has some pacing issues because it is very long and it does cover a lot of time. The note of it calling it a Mad Max Saga, it is a saga. It is almost like they squeezed 5 movies worth into this story. Instead of giving her own series like Mad Max, we just crammed it all into this one. There's a lot happening. And thankfully, that's a good thing, too, because the film does have a flow of... There's never too much time spent on one specific element of the movie. But that means certain elements work a little bit better than others. I felt like, as far as writing goes, I don't think we needed to have as much time with the younger Furiosa. It's not to denigrate the actress who played her, Lila Brown. Again, I think she did quite well. I just think what's happening at the beginning of the film is a little bit less important to where we end up at the end. I think there could have been some tightening up there, because I think once Anya Taylor-Joy appears and once we get kickstarted with kind of that more of an adult character, I think it does hit the gas a little bit more and keeps going through to the end. I think that's where kind of some of the classic Mad Max action set pieces kind of come into play. So overall, really enjoyed this movie. I don't think it hits the high highs of the Road Warrior or Fury Road, but it definitely doesn't hit kind of the more schlockiness of Beyond Thunderdome. It's definitely a tier above Beyond Thunderdome, and definitely above the original Mad Max, which I'm actually not much of a fan of. So definitely, I think, a great movie, a great summer blockbuster, a great popcorn film. A few little nitpicks here and there, but overall, I really, really, really enjoyed Furiosa, Mad Max Saga. Now, when you see the film, go ahead and let me know down in the comments section what you thought about Furiosa, Mad Max Saga. Make sure you like and subscribe down there. There are 2 free things you can do that help to support the channel immensely, and you never miss new episodes of the show as they drop. You can also find goatfilmreviews.com for my many written reviews. You can find Goat Film Reviews on Facebook. You can follow me personally at Almighty Goatman on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, and Threads. You can find Kyle and Nick on Film, my show, with Nick Plotachuk from the St. Paul Filmcast. We're actually covering Furiosa this week, so go ahead and check that out as well. And you can find my written review on goatfilmreviews.com. Thank you so much for joining us, and make it epic.